Hey, thanks for coming back to my channel this week. And this week I want to show you my plants. I've got quite a few plants and I love them very much. And I'm gonna show them to you. Yup. Actually, we'll just start out with this. My dad gave me a clipping of his Citronella plant like 2 summers ago. And I've been just growing clones in my window, which I'll show you. And they smell really good. You know, the Citronella, you can rub the leaves and yeah, it just smells good. And it keeps the bugs off my plants. So she's pretty cute. And these are just, let me see, probably 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4 clones in here. And by clones, I mean I just take clippings, like the top half. You could take like the, you know, cut them by where the leaves sprout out, and then just stick it in some water, and it grows roots. This little beauty right here just got transplanted to this pot. It needed a bigger home, but this is a type of Croton plant, and for the most part it's green and yellow, but like this has red on the edges of it. It's kind of pretty. Now in here I have a chia pet that I haven't got to yet. I'm gonna do it this summer though. The child chia pet. And I mean, are you surprised that my watering can is Batman? Over here, we have this beautiful peace lily. And she's not blooming right now, but she does get these really pretty, like, tall flowers on her. And they're white, and they're cupped. They're really pretty, but yeah, she's not blooming right now. I've had her for about 5 years now. And again, I stick stuff in my plants. I don't know, I think it's cute. Every day, or every other day, we give her nice little spritz, and we get the other ones too. So let's move over here. This is a type of Croton as well, but I know this is a Banana Croton. She's got the yellow in her leaves. And she's pretty big now. When I bought this plant, it was for $1, and it was on the I'm dying rack. And no joke, it was like this big. And we got this one, oh man, we've probably had this for like 7 years now. I bet it's been 7 years. She's been transplanted into several pots. She started in like one of those little, you know, square plastic containers. And like I said, I mean, she was only like this big. And she was losing a lot of leaves. But man, that's probably my favorite right now. I'm proud of this one. She was almost dead. And she gets these little like offshoots. Sometimes these like bloom into flowers and sometimes they don't. And then these guys here are my spider plants. And with the right lighting conditions, they're not in the right lighting conditions, they're in survival conditions, but in the perfect lighting conditions, they have offshoots that like drop real low and they make babies. They look just like these, but they're smaller and they grow on the offshoots. You can cut the offshoots, stick them in some water to root, and make your clones. So these two are actually clones that have grown. And then back here is a little Christmas cactus. She blooms in like December, January, sometimes November, anywhere between like, I would say the end of October to February. She'll get these little cute little pink flowers on her. Well, they're like white, they're like a whitish pink. And then this right here is called a purple giant. And this poor girl, we've been going back and forth for a few years. I've had this for quite a while, and I've made clones of her, and the clones don't survive, and so she's actually, I believe, probably a clone of the original. But I'm trying to create a pot of them, and I'm not doing it. So I just start with the stalk again. She'll get really tall. I'll cut off a little bit, root it, try again. And Pat bought me this recently. This cool little guy. It's a type of succulent, which I try so hard with my succulents, but it's a zigzag plant. That's probably the newest addition. So that's the table here by the window. And then over in this corner, we have a devil's ivy. And she's very full. This is actually, oh, little bee. Oh no, little bee. But there's little bees and a flower. That's not a real flower. It's just a fake flower that I put there. Another little bee. It's actually wrapped around this little tripod that I have in the center here. And it's starting to climb up, which is pretty cool. I want it to reach the curtain rod, and I'm just gonna have it going across. I think that'll be really neat. So she's creeping up there. Once she reaches up there, I'm just gonna start twisting her around and letting her go. There was a vine going up this side, but we were worried about what it might be doing to the wood, so we pulled it off, but there's, you know, nothing here. So we're gonna let her go to there. And I do have a couple clones of her around. I've had her for about 8 years now too, I think. And then over here I have my little violet bunch. They're not in bloom right now, but they will get these really pretty little purple flowers. And then this one is one that I saved for my friend. She's doing quite well. I'm gonna give it back to her this year. This actually grew from one leaf. For violets, you can clone them by clipping off one leaf. And then I just put them in like little pots like this. Put a plastic bag around it, but leave the bag open at the top and just spray it with water. You know, you gotta keep it moist. But that's how I clone the violets, and this was actually from one leaf. There's actually 2 violets in here, but they've been growing together. I don't think I could successfully separate them. That will be going back to my friend this year. My little babies look like they're struggling right now, this one especially. They were pretty big, so I moved them to bigger pots, but I think she needs to go back to a smaller one. But the leaves are so soft and they're like velvet. You have to be careful when you water them that you don't water on the leaves. You can only water the soil, because if you water the leaves and the sun hits them, it puts holes in the leaves and it makes like little yucky brown spots. Yeah, see how these are all flimsy? I'm gonna cut those off. Give her some extra life. We just watered them this morning. They don't take a lot to water. You can definitely overwater violets. They're a finicky little bunch. And over here, I have a clone of the ivy that was in the corner that's growing up the wall. She's just a little clone. But I think, let's see, I've wrapped it around a few times because I don't know. I think it makes it look fuller. But there she is, you know, all splayed out. Yeah, then I just kind of set it up here, wrap it around itself, and we've got some new growth in here coming out. I got these little shelves in the kitchen here, and so here's a clone of one of my violets and a spider plant up there who does very well here. In the living room, here's another clone of the ivy. I actually just made this one a few weeks ago. And then I have a Christmas cactus I'm trying to clone, which I don't think it's going well. It looks pretty flimsy and withered. I'm not really good with succulents, but I keep trying. And then here's the last little spider babies we had from the spider plant. Just a couple little sprigs. Another ivy clone. And these shamrocks I've had for a few years. I did not know they were going to come back. And granted, they didn't come back like whenever I first had them. I mean, it was like a little bush. But they just come back kind of scraggly now. I still really love them. And like they already went through a bloom, but they'll shoot out these little flowers. And on the other side of my living room, this is another one that I've repotted recently. I call it my little dragon tree, but it's like a Dracaena, I can't say it. It did have a third little one when I first got it, but it did not make it. I overwatered it once upon a time, and the little one couldn't survive that. I mean, it was really little. It was like this, and then there were these two giant stalks. I'm considering planting a little bit of ivy in the bottom of that. I think that might look cool. Yeah, I think I am gonna do that. Then over here, we've got my lovely vacuum cleaner, my green screen bag, and a little terrarium with succulents in it, and gnomes. So I have a couple succulents over here. This one back here died, so now it's just a tumbleweed. And I have my little gnome people in there, being gnomes, and some little bees and some little animals. Yup. And then on the outside I have bigger gnomes because I like gnomes. They're super cute. I like gnomes. And then this little plant is my China doll plant. And she just keeps growing taller and taller. I definitely have to retransplant that one soon. She's really pretty. She's very fragile. I've tried to clone her several times because it gets so tall. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just cut it, keep it short, and make like a little bush. But the clones never survive. So I've just started clipping it to this pole here and letting it do its thing. But it is really pretty. And like I said, very delicate. It's a very delicate little plant. You can see up here all the new growth in it. Some new sprouts. And she just keeps going up and up and up. Yeah, I have to transplant that one to a bigger pot soon. She's been in that pot for a while. And there's a little tag for her, a little China doll by my little gnome buddy. In my kitchen window, I mean, I have all sorts of stuff really. It's hard to see because of the lighting, but there's peppers hanging. I got little trinkets hanging from my curtain. We tie-dyed these curtains. My little tea wheel over here. I got all kind of stuff in the window. This little bear, tea stuff. This is a little flower pot, but again, me and succulents, it doesn't work out. They died, but they still look cute there. Here are the Citronella clones I was talking about. So I just put them in the kitchen window until they sprout these little roots. And they're ready to be planted. So those will be added to the blue bucket that's out there. My poor bamboo, that's the last of it. She just kept dying. And then up here I have my aloe. She's really cute. I'm actually surprised she's survived this long. But because of where she's sitting, like this right here is kind of orange. This needs to be cut. I just cut these off and put them in freezer bags because they're great for sunburn. And then they're in the freezer. You just peel the skin off, you know, take them out of the freezer, peel the skin off and rub it on a sunburn. But because it's back here in this corner, you can see the end of this one definitely just crisped right off. This one's getting there too. There's my aloe. Well guys, that's all I have for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed checking out my plants. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Sunday. And until next week, keep on marching to the beat of your own drum. Peace.